Hey everybody, how's it going? Keeping with the theme of Combat Patrol, I made two Imperial Guard Combat Patrol lists. Each one is themed towards my Mechanicum army that I haven't made any progress with, but I am making for the Imperial Guard Codex. One is really themed towards it, and the other one is more universal. But I made both with the theme of mobile firepower in mind. So let's talk about these two lists really quickly. The first one we're going to talk about is the more universal of the two lists. And that one has a veteran squad in it with grenadiers for a 4+ armor save and 2 grenade launchers. It has a second veteran squad in it, grenadiers with 3 grenade launchers and a dedicated transport chimera with no upgrades. You don't need to put an upgrade on your transports in Combat Patrol, really. And then to round out the list, it's 2 armored sentinels with autocannons. Now they come standard with multi-lasers, which are also good, but I've gone with the autocannons for the higher strength potential, or the higher strength weaponry that it is. And I went with armored sentinels because they got better armor in the front, so as long as you keep the front towards the enemy, they have a harder time destroying your sentinel than if it was a scout sentinel. And being that this is a more aggressive list, I could run them into close combat and lock them with enemy units to tie them up, especially if they don't have a way to deal with armor 12 and just eventually beat them in close combat and destroy them that way. Though I'd rather keep them shooting, but I can do both with these armor sentinels. So that's this list. The second list, which is more geared towards a Skitarii Mechanicum army, has 2 veteran squads. Each are grenadiers, each with 3 grenade launchers. One of them has the dedicated transport chimera. Now this has a scout sentinel with an autocannon on it because this is more of a creeping list, a slower list, not as aggressive. So I can use the terrain to my advantage through that as well. And also I can use it to try and get around the enemy by using terrain to my advantage. And it has an autocannon on the sentinel, so it can still bring that firepower to bear. And to round out the list is a tech priest with 2 servitors. Now why did I do that? Well, to fit the theme of the army, really. And he obeys all the rules. He's got a 3+ armor save, 1 wound, 1 attack base. He comes with a last pistol and a power weapon standard, plus his servo arm, which gives him 1 strength 8 attack that ignores armor saves at initiative 1 in close combat. So he's pretty beastly that way for a 1 wound guy, provided he lasts till initiative 1. And the 2 servitors are there to kind of give him extra wounds, like think servitor bodyguards that the tech priest would have. They're standard, so they have a servo arm as well to give him that strength 8 initiative 1 ignore armor save attack also. So you got 3 of those when they with them, as long as they all survive to initiative 1. And they have 1 attack base also, with a 4+ save and standard guardsman stats, just like the tech priest. He can repair vehicles, and with the 2 servitors he has a bonus to that if that becomes necessary, if you want to keep your chimera shooting or moving. Also, if you're encountering enemy vehicles or a high amount of enemy vehicles that are just, you can't for some reason crack because you're rolling badly, or just a lot of them, that more than you expected, and your grenade launchers and autocannons just aren't dealing with them well enough, you could slam the servitor into the vehicles, charge the vehicle with the servitors, and the tech priest. Have that squad, the tech priest and 2 servitors, charge a vehicle, and their strength 8 initiative 1 attacks should, as long as you hit, penetrate any vehicle you encounter that's not a walker with relative ease. Chances are it's going to be armor 10 rear, which you're going to be hitting on regular vehicles, so strength 8, you should really pen it pretty easily and hopefully destroy it that way. It's an extra way to deal with vehicles. Plus it fits the theme of a Mechanicum style combat patrol army, with like a tech priest and the 2 bodyguard servitors leading a survey team or whatnot, or an excavation patrol into something. So those are the 2 lists. To break it down a little bit, I went over the autocannons already. They have strength 7, 2 shots. The AP doesn't really matter, but it's the ability to deal with heavy infantry, especially things that have like higher wounds, higher toughness, I should say. And it can deal with any vehicle you encounter in combat patrol, remembering the rules of combat patrol. So the highest armor value you should encounter on the front should be 12. So a autocannon can penetrate that. Granted, they need a 6, but they can still do it. So that makes the autocannon pretty valuable. Plus, it's got multiple shots. It's not like a lascannon, which is a high strength and one shot. So you have a better chance of hitting as well. The Chimera is great as is, with his multi-laser and his heavy bolter. So you can fire both while not moving, or move a little bit and fire one. If they destroy one of the weapons, you still have another weapon that can fire before it becomes essentially a mobile bunker without any weapons. It does have fire points, which is nice. And a high front armor of 12. If you keep that facing the enemy, it can absorb a decent amount of firepower. Which is cool. In the Mechanicum list, I would put the Tech Priest and the Servitors in the Chimera once I'm able to, and have the veteran squads like flanking it and cover, especially to keep it stationary. With the Scout Sentinel either moving ahead to draw enemies out, or staying back to do a rear guard so nothing can try and outflank you, and lending its firepower when it can. And the other list, the more aggressive universal list, is just a general push. One of the squads inside the Chimera for defense, the one that has a dedicated transport, the other squad marching behind it or to the side of it, with the armored sentinels following on the other side of the flank, on the other flank of the vehicle, or on the same flank as the other squad, and just generally pounding the enemy as you get close. And of course, not running right into the teeth of the enemy, because you are kind of squishy in close combat, but just getting close enough and then backing up, essentially doing stuff like that, being a little bit more aggressive. So both lists, I think, can work. The aggressive list, I think, is a little bit stronger universally because it's got 2 armor sentinels in it. That's the real reason why. But the Tech Priest list, I think, is very fluffy for a mechanical style army and can still work. The grenade launchers, since I forgot to talk about them, I think are great in combat patrol. Melta guns are cool. They're 5 more points, but they're shorter range. The grenade launchers are 24-inch range assault weapons that can fire. The thing with them are like portable missile launchers with slightly less strength. They can fire a frag grenade, essentially, which is a blast weapon, or they can fire a crack grenade, which is a high-strength weapon that without any blast. So, being that it is strength 6 when you fire the crack grenade, you can glance any army you will encounter in combat patrol, which is nice. So, that right there, with its range, makes it pretty valuable. Also, it helps you deal with hordes, because you have to do either the frag or the crack grenade you can shoot out, and you can deal with heavy infantry because of a crack grenade. So overall, it helps lend to the army's theme of mobile firepower. Other than that, that's pretty much it for these type of army lists for combat patrol for Imperial Guard. And I built them for a specific theme in mind. You can of course build different combat patrol lists with the Imperial Guard Codex. These are just 2 of the types I've made. One more universal and one really geared towards the Mechanicum, but still relatively similar combat patrol lists. But because of some tweaking, they play differently. So hope you've enjoyed that, and until next time, take it easy.